Hello everybody and welcome back to the Game of Thrones AI Free-For-All Deathmatch series. This is part 5. In the last episode, quite a bit has happened actually. We've gotten a war between Stannis and Renly Baratheon. However, this war has concluded, as you guys can see over here. What else has happened? I believe we currently have several wars going on. I can go ahead and pull up in our cultural overview over here. And I do apologize in advance. This episode is going to be a bit shorter than previous episodes just because there are extenuous circumstances. So this episode should probably run about 15 to 20 minutes, although the next few episodes will run the typical 25 to 30. So, right, so Balon of the Iron Islands is at war with Robb Stark of the North, and Dorne of Dorne is at war with the Stormlands, as is Edmure. So we've got quite a bit of wars. Actually, Peter Baelish is also at war with the Lannisters, and Renly is still at war with Dorne as well, and the Riverlands. So we've got quite a bit of stuff going on here. And Stannis is also at war with the Vale, although it said that they just cut in peace, so maybe that hasn't registered yet. So we've got quite a bit of wars going on right now. Our current winner in terms of, I guess, in-game composite score is Robb of the North. So let's go ahead and end the turn and see what happens. I really appreciate y'all's input. I think a lot of people really, had preferred if I had disabled the, quick combat for the early game and then kind of enabled it later on. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it off for a few turns just so I can kind of see where the battles are going on. So let's go and, without further ado, go and end the turn. Kind of see what's happening over here. So as you guys can see over here in the Stormlands, we've got some fighting between Dorne and Renly Baratheon's forces. As do we have over here with the Vale. Apparently the war between Stannis and Renly is still in full swing. Or I should say with Peter Baelish. As there was a peace accord between the two Baratheons. The Vale is still at war with Stannis, though. We'll have to see if the city of Driftmark is able to withstand the siege. So here again, I'm keeping on kind of the full combat animations just so I could see where the battles are going on here. So as you guys can see, the Vale has set up yet another city. Peter Baelish has settled to the west of King's Landing. And again, we see a siege of Driftmark as Peter Baelish's forces kind of, surround one of the two continental holdings of Stannis Baratheon. So up here in the north, what do we have? We can see that Mance Rayder, the king of the north, has yet to really expand too far past, beyond the wall itself. Of course, he does have this little area in which he can potentially move units and settlers through, but he has decided not to do that yet. Oh, and I misspoke too soon. Check this out. We've got some colonialism on the part of Mance Rayder. He has a city, the city of Craster's Keep, down here in the north, right off of the coast, or right off of the, immediate frontier of Bear Island and Deepwood Motte. So this is going to be interesting. We're probably going to see some type of conflict between Mance Rayder and Robb Stark now that the wildlings are south of the wall. Very interesting. Also of note, very, very weird, is that Highgarden, the Tyrells, have set up a city also in the north, the city of Tumbleton. So we see some type of colonialization going on over here in the north, as there is plenty of land in which to colonize. So that will no doubt breed some type of resentment and conflict in the future. Of course, Heart's Home is also a new addition to Peter Baelish's expanding domain. We're going to have to keep our eyes on that. And also of note, the Dornish forces are right outside of the Renly Baratheon city of Bronzegate. From this point on, I'll just say the Stormlands city, since, we have two Baratheons. It's incredibly confusing. So again, let's go and end the turn. We, of course, see some renewed conflict outside of the Toldi's Raven Tree Hall, which I believe they've taken from the Lannisters in the last episode. And here we go, outside the city of Bronzegate, we see that there are some ships led by, or rather some embarked units led by the Dornish forces, the Dornish invasion forces. Right, so it looks like the Tullys are still at war. I'm not exactly sure with who. Let's go and just double check the global politics really fast. I can't open cultural overview. It's very weird. So I believe it's, which one was it? Victory progress? No, it wasn't victory progress. Diplomacy overview. Yep, there it is. The UI is very, very strange here. So the Tullies, let's go and pull this up really fast. Right, Tullies. At war with the Stormlands and the Westerlands. So they are currently at war with Renly Baratheon and the Lannisters. So they're kind of sandwiched. We're going to have to see exactly how they, survive here and how they thrive, potentially. And again, another religion was founded. This time, the Drowned God, the second faith of our current game, has been founded by the Iron Islands in the capital city of Pike, of course. Very, very interesting. Let's go ahead and pull this up really fast. So as you guys can see, there's actually even a unique icon for these religions. In this case, the Drowned God. I can't really read it very well because this screen is so tiny, but it looks like a person trying to drink from water, or maybe trying to drown himself in the water. Of course, what's dead may never die and all that. That's, of course, their mantra. Going over here again to the north, nothing much is happening over here. Although I do believe, again, pulling up our trusty diplomatic global politics map. Let's go ahead and see if they are currently at war. Sorry, I thought somebody was knocking on my door. So the north is currently at war with Stannis Baratheon, or rather with Rob. Sorry, I got distracted there. The north is currently at war with the Iron Islands. Again, we haven't really seen too much in terms of development of this conflict between the two. But here we go. The city of Bronzegate is under siege by the Dornish forces. Remains to be seen whether or not it falls. And of course, some renewed fighting going outside of Harrenhal, the cursed city. And Renly is doing a very, very good job at keeping the Dornish invaders at bay. As we can see, and also over here, Stannis is doing a pretty fairly good job at bombarding Peter Baelish's forces off of the coast of the Eyrie. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn off quick combat. Just that this way we can kind of go through the turns a bit quicker. I'm going to kind of go ahead and position myself in a way that will show every theater in development over here. So again, the north, that is to say Robb Stark, is still at war with the Iron Islands. Nothing new to report over here, however. Going to the east, we do see that Dragonstone has a pantheon, which is good because it might mean that the monotheistic faith of the red kind of fire god is in its nascent period. Maybe we'll see the birth of the monotheistic red priest faith, although that remains to be seen. So again, going down over here to Bronzegate, the southeastern city of the Westerlands, or rather of the Stormlands. God, these names are a bit confusing. I do apologize. We see that Renly Baratheon has successfully kind of kept the Dornish invasion force at bay, at least for the moment. Right, so let's go and end the turn and kind of focus our efforts over here on Driftmark and Sharppoint, the exclaves of Stannis Baratheon. Well, I misspoke too soon. Stannis has made peace with Peter Baelish, and in return for this peace, Peter Baelish has been awarded basically the previously Baratheon stronghold of Driftmark, thus basically making Peter Baelish the, sovereign of one of the largest kingdoms in Westeros now. He controls 5 holdings: the Eyrie, Driftmark, Goldtown, Goldwater Burn, and Hearthstone. We'll see how this progresses, of course. Still of note, the Tullys are at war with their western and eastern neighbors. And of course, the Stormlands are still under siege by the Dorns. The Dornish forces are actually moving directly on the capital, Renly's capital of Storm's End, at this moment. And in the north, again, nothing too major happening. Mainly just a standstill over here, a war of attrition between Robb Stark and the Greyjoys. Let's go and end the turn once again. Kind of get a good idea of what's going on over here. And again, I do apologize. This episode will be rather short. I'm going to have to end the episode in about 5 minutes, or just about when my friends arrive. I actually have some people coming over. This is the only time that I can record, unfortunately. So again, the next episode will be a bit longer, but in the interest of kind of pumping these out regularly, I decided to go ahead and record, even though I know that I'm going to have to be going due to extenuating circumstances. So thank you guys for your your patience. Again, this is going to be a regular series, and we are going to finish it very soon. So, right, the Dornish forces are kind of just mucking around outside of the Stormlands. We don't really exactly know what they're doing, but the Tullys have surrounded Haystack Hall with their forces of bannermen. It remains to be seen whether or not they opt to, of course, take the city itself. So I actually have to go now, guys. Thank you again so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode, where we may or may not see the Stormlands being besieged by the Tullys, and of course the continuing war between the Greyjoys and the Starks. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.